Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to MGID Talks Live India. This is your host Pankaj Sharma, and we are back with another interesting topic. How can diversified digital marketing strategies maximize brand performance? With our guest, Mr. Prasad Pimple, Vice President and Digital Marketing at HDFC Life. Prasad, a chemical engineer from UDCT and MBA from JBMIS. Prasad has over 16 years of diverse experience into brand, product management, customer acquisition, strategic business planning, and research across sectors like insurance, telecom, banking, engineering. And prior to working with HDFC Life, Prasad has worked with companies like Tata Docomo, Vodafone, ICICI Bank, and Kotak Mahindra Bank. Hi, Prasad. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Pankaj. Thanks for inviting.
Thank you so much for joining us. And today, I would like to tell my audiences as brand performance is highly personal and can vary drastically from one brand to the next. And performance is typically measured using combination of metrics like audience growth, audience interaction, brand penetration, brand knowledge, and brand awareness. And end of the day, it's all about the sales numbers, the sales figures. If these metrics has improved favorably, brand performance has improved. And if the metric has moved unfavorably, brand performance has stagnated or worsened. So today we will try to understand more from Prasad about different strategies used to improve the overall brand performance. So if you have any questions regarding brand performance, please feel free to put it in the chat box and we will be taking all of those questions. Prasad, once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's start. The very basic question, like how should marketers plan their digital approach and what should be the key approaches?
Okay. So, Pankaj, when we talk about marketing, either it is the offline marketing, the classic television print marketing, or even the digital marketing, the approaches start with the brand and the campaign objective. That what exactly is the objective of that particular campaign and what do you want to influence? Do you want to influence the awareness consideration at the top of the funnel? You want to influence the purchase intent of the customer, or you want to finally influence the number of leads what you're getting or generating out of that particular campaign along with the final business output? So first, any marketing approach, it starts with your marketing objective. Once that particular part is done, that you decided on doing either awareness consideration or final business output, you come to the next segment, which is what should be my target audience? What should I do to talk to that target audience in a relevant manner? That comes into the picture. If you want to do more of awareness consideration building activity for your brand, your products and services, then the best thing to do is to go for top of the funnel campaign for new to your category customers. Make them aware about your products, make them aware about your services. That's how the approach will get defined. If
Mhm.
your approach is more about creating that purchase intent, then go for the something like in market audiences. To those in market audiences, you reach out, you increase your frequency significantly so that they
Mhm.
finally decide to consider and show their intent towards the product or the service. And if your intent or the objective of the market is predominantly generate the leads and final bottom line business out of it, then the bottom funnel campaign, which is more about whatever audiences you have created through your top funnel and your middle funnel campaigns, go and do a remarketing to them. That should be your digital approach. But whenever you are doing all these activities in the funnel, you also need to consider whether any of those customers are your existing customers. If they're existing
Mhm.
customers and that's what you want to target more, then focus more on building engagement with them because they have already experienced your products and services.
Correct.
Once this particular target audience approach is done, then comes the next approach of content and media vehicles to drive that content. So if you want to
Mhm.
develop the content, that becomes the one approach, that how exactly that communication and content should be designed and developed. And second objective is creating that media mix, ensuring that that media mix is good enough for your objective. If it's top of the funnel brand awareness
Mm-hmm.
consideration, then your media mix should be more about reach. If it is about middle funnel, it should be more about the frequency. And if it is bottom funnel, then it should be more about the remarketing aspect of it and going a bit personalized. So it's basically using data, technology, interplay between data, technology, content, and the media mix that will truly define the way you want to deploy your digital approach. That's how I look at the overall definition and defining the marketing, digital marketing approach.
Very interesting. In fact, you have defined it very well that, approach will largely depend upon the objective you want to achieve at. So, the
Correct.
same approach will not work. So if we say that if you're looking for leads, you need to have a different approach. And so it's more an objective. So the other challenge which comes in when we talk about communication or, planning your content. So how do you plan your content at different stages of customer journey?
Okay. So, see, whenever we talk about content, the most important part is, again, I'll repeat this, that it starts with the objective. If you're
Correct.
creating a content for your brand awareness and brand consideration, that content has to be more engaging. It can't be
Mm-hmm.
specific to your product, specific to your product features and benefits. It should be more engaging. It should create the need for your category. It should create the need for your product. That's the number one approach. Now, uh, either your category and product is already interesting enough so that consumers will automatically will get attracted to it. If it is not, like something like life insurance, where you don't think about
Mm-hmm.
life insurance on regular basis, there you need to create that extra level of engagement, where the delivery of the content has to be done in form of a engaging communication.
Mm-hmm.
Customers should connect with it easily. Customers should feel that okay, I should see this content for the entire duration. Now this is when I'm talking about the video content. The another important part is if it is a image content or the display
Mm-hmm.
banner kind of an activity, same thing should be there. You should not clutter your entire small display banner with a lot of information in the top of the funnel. It should be one single thing which will hit consumers hard, that yes, this category, this product is important to me and I should do more research around the same. That's what the first
Correct.
feeling customers should get out of that communication, along with the objective. If
Mm-hmm.
the objective is more towards lead generation and business generation, and you are talking to the in-market audience or the people who have already interacted with your brand in the past, there your communication should be completely targeted towards your product benefits and features. He is aware about it. He has got some information about why it is important to me. Finally, I need to push him towards the important aspect of showing interest and initiating that journey. So my communication content should be predominantly on that level. It should have more focus on the benefits, followed by a targeted call to action. That this is the action I want
Mm-hmm.
to take. That's how the content should be developed. And third important thing, which many a times when we look at any communication, we always start with a target group from predominantly demographics perspective. We look at the consumers, we say that okay, somebody is a millennial, somebody is a middle-aged a person. I will change my communication accordingly. But I would suggest that we should add one more layer to it. It's all about how I, as a consumer or my target group, wants to consume the content. Everybody out here has a different set of beliefs, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody has their own way of consuming the content. Few people like video as the content, few people like text long article as the content, few people like the content which is very optimistic in nature, few people like the content which is very realistic, fact based, data based
Definitely.
content. Now, identifying your consumer segment, that majority of the existing customers, what type of behavior they demonstrate and the belief they demonstrate in terms of the kind of content,
Mm-hmm.
once you get that information, you should create the content specific to that belief. If I realize that majority, let's assume majority of the insurance consumers are looking at it from a one as an emotional angle and one as a really fact data based angle.
Mm-hmm.
My communication should be combining these two: facts, figures, and emotions. If that is there, then connect what I'm going to get out of that particular consumer, be it a millennial consumer or a middle-aged consumer, or we can say somebody who is 50 plus. They will
Mm-hmm.
connect well with your content only when they'll realize that this content is as per my beliefs. The content is as per the format I like the most. Then they will engage with your content more. So that becomes far more important when you are looking at your content development.
Yeah. As you rightly pointed out, that heterogeneity plays a very crucial role in overall content mix, and because
Correct.
the preference, being of the same age group, same industry, our preference might be different, and we should keep all these things in our mind when we are trying to reach out to the audiences and plan our content marketing accordingly. So the other thing which comes to the people's mind is like, what are the best media vehicles to drive brand performance, and what should be the right mix of organic and paid media? Because these days it's very difficult to
Correct.
identify that whether we should do it organically or we should do a paid push, and what kind of media vehicles we should choose upon, because there's so many options which has evolved over time. So your thoughts on it?
Correct. So when we talk about the media vehicles, now again, going back to the type of consumer, the first
Mm-hmm.
most important part is if you are aware about what type of consumer you want to target, either from the demographic basis or from the behavior basics. If you know, then the first step is to identify where exactly this target group is going and consuming the content.
Mm-hmm.
That is far more important. Wherever your target group is, you need to go to that particular media. That's the basic consideration. The second part in this entire thing is looking at your again marketing objective or the campaign objective. What do you want to do? If you want to
Correct.
go for something like building awareness and consideration, uh, one thing which works really well for the awareness perspective is your mass media campaigns. Either you do it through a television or you do it through a major print campaign. That gets you a lot of awareness. I think that's the best media vehicle when it comes to building the
Mm-hmm.
awareness. But when you want to really build the consideration for your brand and you want to increase the frequency to a level where people will actually think that if I want to purchase a particular product and service, I'll go to this particular brand. At that point of time, the digital marketing comes far more,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes very handy. It becomes far more important to just impact that consideration. Now, when we talk about that consideration, again, two things which impact the most. One is how much reach you can uh, generate to the target audience you're talking to, and at what frequency. Like beyond a certain frequency, we all know that communications don't help. So in that case, setting the reach and frequency for a top of the funnel campaign to build awareness and consideration, or to support awareness and build consideration, I would suggest going for something like a large display campaign with the help of programmatic, or with the help
Mm-hmm.
of native advertisements, or if you are talking about the video content, then I think YouTube does a wonderful job in terms of building that reach and providing right frequency to the consumers, which is not like
Mm-hmm.
really, really high. It's like wasting the marketing money on very high frequency of communication. But these few mediums work really well when it is coming to the awareness and consideration. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to middle funnel, which is all about the in-market audiences, creating the purchase intent from the people who have been got awareness about your product and they are actively now considering you. At that
Correct.
point of time, more targeted communication to the in-market audience who have seen, let's assume if I take the example of life insurance, who have seen life insurance communication in the past, they have engaged with it. Targeting
Mm-hmm.
those set of customers will become far more important, and there I think something like Google Display Network or a Facebook as the medium plays far important role. Now, whether I
Mm-hmm.
talk from the brand perspective or I talk from the performance perspective, I think these two
Mm-hmm.
platforms really work well when it comes to that. But when it comes to like increasing your funnel at the top, then programmatic native advertisements, they work wonderfully with lot of publishers you want to work with. And when it comes to the overall objective of bottom funnel, and you really want to generate leads out of it, and you want to optimize your campaigns on the basis of business you want to generate, in in that case, I think the remarketing and retargeting approach through programmatic, through Facebook, in fact through YouTube, it really helps. Like so many different platforms have molded themselves into all these three marketing funnels, be it top, middle, or bottom, and they have solutions which can help you deliver that particular message to achieve your marketing objective. That's how I look at it. You asked one more important
Correct.
aspect, which was on the mix of organic media and paid media into it. Correct.
Yes.
Now, how I look at it, that if if your product is such and your marketing objective is such that you want to gradually build the overall engagement with your audience, you want to use content to get like content to spread on its own, then the more focus should be on, obviously that's what the organic listing is all about, the more focus should be on your content. If you have the time at your side where you want to create
Mm-hmm.
your brand on certain aspects, and you have certain amount of time with you, in that case I would suggest just go for higher mix of organic, focus more on developing that content, the engaging content which can spread on its own, believe
Mm-hmm.
in it, and then push through that particular channel. But generally what happens in today's world, there's so many campaigns are going on. The campaigns per se uh, nowadays have a shorter shelf life. Earlier we used to see that some of the television campaigns used to run for years, but nowadays a lot of digital marketing campaigns, the content refreshment becomes far more important. Your
Mm-hmm.
campaign cannot have a very long shelf life. In that particular case, what becomes more important is the paid promotion. Now, if you want to do an impact to your overall marketing objective in a short span of time, then I think the
Mm-hmm.
best thing to do is the paid campaign, where you get that accentuated reach in a faster duration, you get the performance out of it, you get results out of it quickly, and basis those quick results you can further optimize your campaigns. That is like really important in this entire scenario. And we all know that once your campaign has reached to a lot of people, maybe because of the paid campaigns, paid promotions, because of spending money, it helps you to sustain it organically for a longer period. If it has already
Correct.
reached a lot of people, if the content is really good, engaging, people will organically come back to that particular content and consume it again and again. And that I think becomes really good thing for the brand to achieve both the aspects. One is the longevity of your content, and second one is getting the quick results and proper optimization on the basis of the same.
So, it's very difficult to, put a number against that, what should be the contribution of an organic and paid, because
Correct.
it will be again an outcome based. But when we talk about the duration of the campaign, it is recommended that there has to be an sort of paid thing that should be there. And
Paid.
as you rightly, yeah, and as you rightly pointed out, content is the king, and and we say that in native, like, discovery is the queen, so king also needs his queen. So if you have a good content, you need to promote it so more and more people can share it or view it. So it's important that we have and choose the right mix between the content, depending upon what kind of objectives you have for it. So
Correct.
also when we talk about measurability, it's become very difficult. As you know, initially when I pointed out that you have to look at various parameters in order to measure brand performance.
Correct.
So how marketers can measure brand performance effectively, and what are the key metrics to focus on? Because there is like plethora of things I need to look at, whether it's about awareness, it's about funnel, sales, a lot of things. So it's confusing for many. If you can share some more light on it.
Sure. So again, when it comes to your uh, awareness and consideration part of it, the reach is the most important aspect there. That how much unique reach your communication is managing to deliver. How many customers are receiving your communication, and at what frequency? I think that's what we need to track. The second important thing what we need to track at that point of time is basically the amount of engagement. Now, what is the amount of engagement? How do we calculate it? It's basically how many customers are actually looking at that communications, clicking on it, and finally coming to your website. And once they come to your website, how much time do they spend? What do they do? How
Hmm.
many pages they look at? What kind of bounce rate you observe from those set of consumers? That entire aspect, everything will come into it. It has to be connecting all these dots. At one level, reach frequency; at another level, the engagement in form of click, if it is a video
Hmm.
content, form of a views, and finally the impact, which is in terms of direct visits coming because of this particular campaign. Customers are clicking on it, and the behavior of that customers in terms of their
Hmm.
pages, the time spent, and everything. There's another aspect to this entire when we talk about the brand campaigns. The another aspect is the indirect benefit out of it, which
Hmm.
is all about the customer is not is getting engaged with your communication. He's viewing it, he's seeing it. Even the display campaign, if we talk about, that impression was served to him, he has gone through it, but at that point of time he has not clicked on it. He has just kept that
Hmm.
thing in his mind that yes, I had seen that communication in subconscious mind. He's aware about it that yes, I should do something about this aspect in my life. But when he's at his leisure time, when he's doing some search, when he's browsing the internet, he'll think about it, and he will go back to your website directly by directly typing your, let's say in case of HDFC Live, typing hdfclive.com and coming to your website, and then going through the content which is placed on the website. So knowing all these things is far more important. Tracking that particular part, that the
Hmm.
customer has seen our communication, and finally it has resulted into a direct visit to my homepage, and then customer has seen a lot of information on my website. I think that covers the entire top of the funnel KPIs. If we talk about something like middle and bottom funnel KPIs, those are pretty direct. Those are like optimized on the basis of clicks, optimized on the basis of leads, and sometimes even optimized on the basis of final end objective and end result. It's far more easier to track it. Only one element becomes far more important there is at what cost, at what cost per visit, at what cost per lead, at what cost per final conversion. That cost parameter becomes far more important because you have a business objective. You need to ensure that business objective is met with cost consideration into it.
Hmm. So this is quite interesting, as you said that possibly user has seen the communication, and but user has not reacted. So it's also important that marketers spend a lot of little bit of investment on the
Hmm.
tracking and the data.
Correct.
As you know, on our platform also we see that when we use pixels, at times the conversion doesn't get because pixel doesn't fire, but there's a
Correct.
conversion. There's a lot of differentiation between the you know backend client's backend and at our dashboard, and we say that use postback. But most of the time in the Indian advertisers, the big advertisers, they feel that using postback or investing into this technology is not a win-win. But what do your thoughts on investing into this kind of measurement tools, technology, and data aspect of it?
Okay. See, I started the conversation. I mentioned that the
Yeah.
entire digital marketing, performance marketing approach is all about interplay among data, technology, content, and the media mix. So, data and technology definitely is far more important. In fact, that is one of the most widely used tactics nowadays in terms of overall campaign planning and targeting. So from that perspective, and it works across the funnel. It's not like data
Mhm.
and technology works only on the middle and bottom funnel where you have more control, but it works across the funnel. That is far more important. And when we talk about this data and technology, it basically serves, I would say, three broad things. One is the overall tracking. That entire thing starts with tracking. If you don't track and you don't invest in a technology which can track across, not just tracking
Mhm.
your own website but also tracking the impressions getting delivered across your media
Mhm.
vehicles, and tracking them at one level, and then making a informed choice that okay, across all the media platforms and vehicles, uh, if I want to control the frequency, that can be done only when you have the ability and technology investment in terms of tracking it overall, either third party sites where your campaigns are getting delivered or your own website. It has to have end to end tracking, far more important. The second important part in this particular section is integration of these tracking tools with your campaign tools. Because one level is tracking and the second level is using those insights to deploy the further campaigns. So if you are doing campaigns, any form of campaign, either it is a search campaign or it's a display campaign or it's even the push campaigns like or the targeted push campaigns like email, SMS, web push notification, everything, they need to talk to each other, and that integration layer has to be there, without which, even if you have a plan to uh, use the insights and deploy the campaign, you can't do that thing. It can be done, but it can't be done in a manner which is most optimal for that particular customer and his experience. And third important part in this particular thing is, once you have tracking, once you have integration, the third part is how much and you can automate the entire thing. That becomes like really important activity. Automation helps you with real time tracking,
Mhm.
uh, developing real time insights, and executing real time campaigns, so that whatever moment we have captured in your tracking, we have delivered a campaign around that particular moment. So somebody
Mhm.
who has, let's assume from that automation perspective, I talk about somebody who has uh, seen a particular communication, but they have not taken any action on the same, but you're aware about it. Can you immediately deliver another communication to him, which can result into that particular click, which can nudge him? Because automation is the one thing which will definitely help
Mhm.
you to nudge your customers real time. If somebody who had visited your website in the past, they had gone through multiple pages, but they didn't share their contact details, or they didn't submit a lead, how do I go back to those set of customers when they again start searching for that particular part? How do I go back to him and deliver my message again, so that I nudge him to come back to my website and this time, instead of just browsing through it, show the interest, show the purchase intent, drop a lead, and finally purchase. So that those nudges are possible only when your tracking and integration is supported by a automated campaign management kind of a thing. That's how I would say the data and technology should be
Mhm.
managed uh, in a manner that it gives you that real time campaigning ability.
Mm. Thank you so much, for sharing some key tactics to use at various marketing funnel, because it's very important to use the data and to use the each and every interaction. Like in today's world, we say that every interaction on a digital platform or in the digital world is like a transaction. Maybe it might happen today or it might happen in the near future. So, if you talk about digital performance marketing and brand advertising, so how do you digital performance marketing and brand advertising connect at the end of the day?
Okay, so there is a very fine line between the same. Both digital marketing and performance marketing, though we generally talk them as a brand marketing, brand digital marketing, and performance marketing, two separate units. Actually, they are completely connected, not by anything else, but by the consumers. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when brand marketing is predominantly focusing on building that relevance, awareness, consideration for your brand and products and services, performance marketing is basically looking towards digital marketing and brand marketing to build that set of audiences to engage with your brand, engage with your products and services, so that when they do their campaigning to those
Mm-hmm.
set of audiences, they get a far better output out of it. So I don't think that these two units are separate. They have to work in tandem. They have to ensure that uh, consumer should be tracked end to end, irrespective of in which particular marketing funnel he is. The tracking should be end to end, and learning should be passed on from brand marketing campaigns to performance marketing, and at the same time performance marketing
Mm-hmm.
to brand marketing. Because the media vehicles, I mentioned some time back that most of the
Yep.
digital platforms what we currently have across publishers, across platforms like Google ecosystem or Facebook ecosystem, those platforms have ensured that they are uh, covering every single marketing funnel, top, middle, bottom. And when they are doing it, and when they have the solutions to deliver that kind of a performance, then learning from performance marketing team, from overall media mix planning, has to go into your top of the funnel campaign when you do it again next time.
Correct.
All those learnings should be taken and used for your future campaign planning. Same thing applies to let's assume in brand marketing you are targeting certain set of affinities or categories. If you realize that certain category or certain affinity or certain interest groups are responding to your brand communication more, the same learning has to go into your performance marketing campaigns when they're planning for the same. So that line is quite blurred, though they have a separate objectives to deliver from the overall marketing funnel is concerned. But both of them have to work together to ensure that uniform customer experience is delivered, and overall return on investment or return on your marketing investment is significantly higher. Both have to work together.
Yeah, it's very important that the brand as well as the performance, because end of the day, if the brand is not built up, the performance will not come in, and
Correct.
it will affect the overall performance or the bottom of the funnel if we talk about approach.
Correct.
So, and also it's as you rightly pointed out, it's important that we emphasize more on the technology and tracking. Like, for instance, in our platform also we have postback, we have integration with various platforms like Affice. So wherein end-to-end tracking is possible, and we understand the where the audience is going, and he can be remarketed or retargeted. So it's very important. So talking about from the marketing dynamics, what do you think? Like, has the marketing dynamics changed from the pre-pandemic and now, and what are the differences there?
Okay, so I would say that marketing per se has not changed. The marketing is all about connecting with the consumers. So that particular part has remained the same. As the context has changed, or the customer behavior has got modified because of the pandemic, there has been a slight change in it. So, for example, if I talk about even the post-pandemic era, I would divide that period into two, three parts. One is immediately after the pandemic, when it actually India realized that okay, it is hitting us, and we started experiencing first in a lifetime phenomena called lockdown. At that point of time, the customer behavior started changing a bit. They become more cautious. They started questioning everything, that whatever we are currently talking about. They started thinking short term rather than thinking really, really long term. So the entire approach when customers were facing that lockdown scenario, it was all about being cautious. They were cautious with everything. They were cautious with spending money. They're cautious about going out. They were thinking about. They were cautious about consuming different things, even including food. They were thinking that okay, if the lockdown continues beyond the time, if we don't get enough food items in our vicinity, or if we get completely the area where because of high COVID hotspot kind of a region, if we completely can't go out of our house, what should we do? So they started thinking about these aspects more. They become cautious with their every single decision they are making. Then I would say the next phase when came when finally we decided to release some of the restrictions on day-to-day life. When unlock actually got initiated, again the consumer behavior slightly changed. So they started thinking more about, yes, this is not something which is more permanent in nature. I should continue to remain cautious, but I should also have a hope that this will also change. Future is not going to be as bad as what we have experienced in last 2 3 months. That hope came in between. And the third thing, what I would say, is predominantly on the basis of the recent last 2 3 months, if we talk about, where most of the restrictions have been lifted and more things are getting opened up. The movements are now more free. People are also resuming to their uh, uh, I would not say 100% to their pre-pandemic approach. The pandemic has
Mhm.
definitely impacted their psyche, but they are going close to that particular era. So, as a marketeer, how we looked at it in HDFC Life was predominantly from the perspective of being always with the consumer. If, as a
Mhm.
consumer, his approach is more about being safe from the corona, being cautious, focus on that safety part of it. We also ensure that our communication remains close to something called staying safe from COVID, and how exactly it is linked with the protection category of HDFC Life. So that's how we
Mhm.
connected with the consumers, contextual connection. At that point of time, we didn't go out and created a campaign which was like all about normal life. We we basically remained with the customer. Same thing happened in the second phase when customers were a bit hopeful. Our campaign was again around that hope concept, that we should be with you at this point of time. If you are hopeful, our communication also talking about the same hope. And third thing, which is right now where we are, which is closer to the customer behavior and psyche, which is closer to the pre-pandemic era, our communication has also slowly becoming closer to that particular period. So it's all about whether pandemic or any situation happening, it's all about how do we connect with the consumers and how do we grow with them. That is the far important aspect in terms of such pandemic, pre-pandemic, or even in future post-pandemic scenario.
Yeah. Quite interesting. That's a very interesting journey. And, you have, as you explained that, there were different strategy which you adopted to be in and around the user and, to spread a lot of awareness and very close to the customer. So we have got one question from our, viewer. He
Yeah.
said that can digital be called as the most efficient media from brand growth? Like if you compare television, if you compare like print, and then came a time of digital. So is it like one of the most important, or what kind of role it plays?
It is one of the important channels, I would say, because I mentioned in the conversation as well that
Hmm.
TV, print, they don't lose their charm. It's important that we adopt to a complete mix, which is more closer to our overall marketing objectives. If objective is to build brand from scratch and build a lot of awareness, consideration around the same, then the kind of reach a TV gives us is a far superior and better. But the important part is how do you fit your other digital marketing platforms or vehicles in your overall planning. There's nothing called a separate planning for TV and print and separate planning for.
Mm-hmm.
If you are talking about the brand performance, it has to be put together. A digital uh, campaigning with the help of YouTube, Facebook can definitely help you the definitely help us to accentuate the reach for a TV campaign, because TV, when it's reaching to a certain set of audiences, at the same time YouTube and Facebook can be used to reach the other set of audiences. Overall your reach increases significantly, and from frequency planning perspective same thing happens, that digital gives you far more power of frequency, far more power of targeting, remarketing. Overall, when we look at it together, it works wonderfully. In isolation, each vehicle will deliver the performance limited to that particular vehicle. But when everything is connected together, the performance will be far better. In fact, we have
Yeah.
experimented with certain things that when the TV campaign is happening, we support it with a YouTube campaign with a combined planning, and it has shown better reach and better results to our overall campaigns.
So that's quite interesting. And if you talk about customization, customization is possible in digital, and you can reach out to different audiences at a different level, and differential communications can be. So
Yeah.
we have another 2 minutes. There's another question which came from Vishal. Do you in being okay? What should be the effective medium to expand your reach? Like, what are the mediums you will media vehicles you will suggest for a wider reach?
Okay. So from reach perspective, what we have seen that the large campaign through a programmatic platform or a large campaign through a native campaigns, I think they work the best in terms of getting that reach. Now, if your audience is predominantly such that they're only consuming the content which is video content, then according to me, the YouTube has been one of the best performing platform for us to get that desired reach as well as the desired output. So from, if we simply look from those perspectives, then
Hmm.
I think uh, the programmatic, when it comes to overall display, programmatic plus native, I would say, to get the maximum reach. And if it comes to a content which is more video, then I would say the YouTube, Facebook really work well for us. And there are few experimentations that are happening nowadays with the help of some of the OTT platforms, though those experimentations are at a nascent stage right now. But we are seeing the quality of interactions, the quality of engagement with these OTT platforms significantly higher. But
Hmm.
as of now, whatever campaigns we have done and we have experienced, I think for most of the reach objectives, the YouTube, Facebook works really well for us.
Yeah. So interestingly, another question which came and which is very much connected to what we are talking about. How effective are the new age social platforms in terms of reach and conversions?
Yeah. So when I think the question has been asked from the new age technologies or the new age social
Yeah.
media platforms, I'm assuming that the question is more towards something like Instagram, something like
Yeah,
and now
new age social,
correct,
Chingari has come up, and there are new
correct,
platforms
correct,
which are
correct.
coming up, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So I would say that it's more than the platform, it's about your objectives. If your objective is to target a segment, which is like, I would say, really, really young segment, you want to reach out to someone who is less than 23, 24 years old, then such kind of platforms will definitely help. Obviously, those platforms the kind of customers they have, the kind of target group they have on those platforms has to match with your target group. If it is matching well
Hmm.
and everything is working well, then one should definitely adopt and explore that particular platform in a format which is native to that platform, not in a format which is completely different.
Hmm.
I can't have a text campaign or the articles published on such kind of platform. If the platform is all about video consumption and it's all about engagement, then I would have that kind of content placed there. If the platform is all about the UGC or the user generated content, then I will predominantly work with that platform to create that UGC for the brand. That's how I'll engage with that particular platform. So it's not like there is a fixed rule for the same. Everything boils down to your marketing objective, what you want to solve, then the profile of the customers of that particular platform, and whether it is fitting well with the target group what you have set for your brand.
Definitely. In fact, we are running out of time. There are more questions popping up, and our team will reply. Once again, I would like to thank Prasad for joining us, and it was a very interesting discussion there around. There are a lot of learnings which I'm personally taking with me. So thank you so much for your time. It was lovely having you here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting Pankaj. My pleasure.